So now we are in our parasha from Yaakov, the Parasha Vayetze. We went for, this is a parasha, portion 4. Then Yaakov went on this journey and came into the land of the people of the east. And he looked, and behold, a well in the field, and lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it, the flocks, and a great stone was upon the well's mouth. So here we come in a new situation after Yaakov has had the vision in the night with the ladder. So if you don't have watched the other portion, I will encourage you to start with the portion, the first portion, and to go on until you understand this portion. Now, Yaakov is on his journey. He is walking. And he is gone into the way which will bring him to become Israel. To become Israel. Are you Israel? Are we Israel? Because I see that in a social network, people are talking about many things. But the question is to ask ourselves, am I Israel? I must become so far. And maybe I'm still Yaakov, not Israel. You see, there is a difference. Yaakov is a carnal man. Israel is a spiritual man. And Paul explained us very well in 1 Corinthians chapter 15. He tells us that there is two man, or the better say, two Adam. Two Adam. So, I speak from Shaul or Paul concerning the spiritual man excuse me, and the carnal man. Paul is a wise man. I know that many criticize him because they don't understand. But if you spend time and ask Jehovah to reveal the deepest view of Shaul, you will see how wise this man was. So now in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, Paul speaks about the two Adam. The first is a carnal man, which is born after the flesh. The second one, the second Adam, is a spiritual man, born after the Ruach, the spirit. I will read, because I don't want to put my own word. Paul says, 1 Corinthians 15, from the verse 45, and so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul, nephesh. The last Adam, a quickening spirit. Howbeit there was not first which is spiritual, but that which is natural, and afterward that which is spiritual. The first Adam is of the earth, earthly. The second from heaven. As it is the earthly, such are they also that are earthly. And as it is heavenly, such are they also that are heavenly. And as we have borne the image of the earthly, we shall also bear the image of the heavenly. So, we will speak about this chapter 15 in a long video we will make later. But here I want to explain this. Before Yeshua came, there was a promise of the coming of the Mashiach. It was well known in the first century that the Mashiach will come in the 4th day. Because of what is written in the first chapter of Bereshit, Genesis, there is a promise which was understood. Malachi spoke about it. Here Paul explains something, that before Yeshua came, people were living under the first Adam. And we read, the first Adam was a carnal man, like we see today in the world. The people from the world, like we were before, are carnal. And sometimes, unfortunately, we also are carnal. We are carnal when we walk after the flesh. You remember Paul in another place say, do not walk after the flesh, but walk after the Ruach, or the Spirit. If you walk after the Spirit, you will not fulfill the desire of the flesh. Oh, I know that many pastors in Christianity teach about that, but they don't understand. What does it mean to walk in the Spirit? That is a very important question, because I don't have seen any pastor explain this? Nobody, I say it again, that I don't have seen any pastors speaking about the meaning of walking in the Spirit. I will explain. Just wait. Now, here we have a difference between those followers of Yeshua and those who follow another spirit. Okay? They are carnal. And the carnal man cannot fulfill the call of Elohim. Because Paul tells us in another place in the book of Romans that those who are carnal cannot please Elohim. They cannot. They cannot. Or we see people from the world making many things, serving in Africa, giving them money, giving to the poor, many things, yes. But they satisfy their own flesh. I'm a good guy. I have done that. I have done that. But this is not what Elohim wants. This Elohim do not want, Jehovah do not want us to be a good guy. He wants to be transformed. He wants to be renewed. He wants to be us like Mashiach, like Yeshua, who suffer for us. So we have to understand that if we live after the Spirit, if we walk in the Spirit, then we will become more and more like Yeshua. And for that, we will have to be like Jacob. We will have to go through the challenge of life. Now, what does it mean to walk in the Spirit? We can pause and we can think about that. You know, what have you heard about walking in the Spirit? Who told you what it's to walk in the Spirit? Honestly, I have never seen that. I have to find the explanation myself. Who is the Spirit? It's not the Spirit of Yeshua. It's not the Spirit of Elohim. It's not Elohim who gave the Word, and the Word was made flesh. So to walk in the Spirit, my brother and sister, this means to walk in the Torah. Because the Torah is the truth. There is no other truth in this world. If you want to know the truth, because Yeshua said you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Right? In the book of John, we read in the chapter 17, 17, we read, sanctify them, it's Yeshua speaking, sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. This is very important because we know now that thy word, the word of Elohim, is a truth. If I go to Psalm 119, I will read for you so that you can understand. In the Psalm 119, in the verse 89, we read, forever, O Jehovah, thy word is settled in heaven. In the verse 151, we read, you are near, O Jehovah, and all thy commandments are truth. In the verse 142, we read, thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy Torah is truth. You see, when Yeshua speaks about truth, he's speaking about the Torah. He's speaking about the everlasting word. And Yaakov is the shadows, is the shadows of the Mashiach. I will explain that in another part. He will have to go also, do you believe or not, that Yeshua has to go through challenge in order to be the Mashiach. He was not born so. He was not born so and come and say, oh, I am the Mashiach. No. He has to go through suffering. He has to go through injustice. He has to go through a very painful challenge in order to become the one we call today Yeshua HaMashiach. He was refined. He was not perfect from birth. He was educated in the Torah by his parents, Joseph and Miriam. But he has become the Mashiach. He was not born Mashiach. He has become Mashiach by the challenge of life, by accepting the condition of life. And so Yaakov never went back from the time he went to Laban. He will go through the injustice 20 years long until until Elohim told him to go back. So do not turn away from your call. Go to the end. If you want to know the end, you will have to go to the end, in order to know what Elohim has for you. This is the encouragement. You may be down, you may be oppressed, you may be discouraged. Never lose hope. Because this is the hope we have in Mashiach Yahushua. The high call we have for life eternal. Life eternal is not a small thing. It is to overcome the world. So I encourage you to keep going and to see in this parasha what we have in Mashiach Yahushua in the life of Yaakov. So, Parasha Vayetze, the life of Yaakov. This is for today. They will be the last part. Although there is much more to say, and you will discover that in the written parasha, which we post the link. I encourage you to read because there is a lot of information and very important things to understand for our life, our own life. Because we need, like Yaakov, we need to be transformed, we need to be changed, and we will have to go through this process of life in order to become the one Jehovah wants us to be. So do not be discouraged when you encounter challenge and pressure and things which come across our life, which many times seems to be unjust, because there is no justice in this world. So do not expect justice, because if you expect justice, you will be totally disappointed. We learn in the life of Jacob how to respond to the call of Jehovah in our life. Here we see that. Now I want to make just a summary. Jacob will go through the life in Laban's place. Laban's place is a pagan place. It's a pagan place. And he will find the bride there, Rahel. And he wants to marry Rahel. But for that, he will have to marry another one. So you see, this situation seems to be strange. But this reflects the life of Yeshua. Yeshua in the Ruah since 2000 years is looking for a bride in the pagan world. In the pagan world. So if you understand that, you will see in the parasha why Yaakov has to marry Leah in order to have Rahel. Both will become the so-called matriarch, the mothers of Israel, the 12 tribes. And Yaakov is a cement, the pillar in the midst of the two wives, like Yeshua is the pillar of the Kehillah, the center of the Kehillah, the building of Elohim, Yehuda and Ephraim. So this is much more to say. Now we see there is a lot of metaphor. This means allusion to things which are higher in understanding. We will see Jacob going to the well, which is a metaphor of looking for the water, which is the Torah. Paul speaks about that. We see Jacob removing the stone before the well, which is a metaphor for the stony heart. So many things you can read in the parasha. I have written that. You have it written down. You can study it for your own and to understand how Leah is a metaphor for Yehuda, how Rahel represents the bride of the Mashiach. So please, take time to read the parasha. It's not my parasha. It's a parasha which is given to the brethren in order that we all grow together to come to the perfect understanding. We need it. And you may discover things on your own which is not written in the parasha. If you take time to study, to take the Shabbat as a time of studying, as a time of fellowship with Elohim in the Shabbat, I guarantee you that if you take this time, you will be blessed beyond all understanding. You will find things which are not to be found in quarrel or competition or false teaching. Just take the time to go there. The assembly of ourselves is only good if we truly love one another, and we don't go there to compete, to make challenge with others, to make competition, but to believe that we have all the same challenge and that only Yeshua can bring us together. Okay, so read the parasha and see that Yaakov took the challenge, as we should take this challenge in order to grow and to become Israel. Because at the end we will see how we can become Israel. But we have to see how Laban will go through the challenge before Elohim told him now he can go back home. He can go back home. This is our call. We are called to go back home, but not as many pretend when Elohim will tell us to go back home. And for that we have to become Israel. The day we become Israel all together, then we will go back home. So we pray that you will be blessed with this parasha, that you may learn and that you may encourage others to become Israel. May you be blessed through Yeshua HaMashiach in Elohim, Yehovah Tsebaot, our Heavenly Father.